Hello and welcome everyone. Make sure your screen shows the slide that says briefing. Make sure your earbuds are in or your headphones are on. By registering for this masterclass, you acknowledge and agree to the following terms. Prohibition of all AI note takers and recorders, the use of AI-powered note-taking tools, automated recorders, or similar technologies is strictly prohibited during this masterclass. Recording and redistribution. The masterclass may not be recorded, reproduced, or redistributed in any form without explicit written permission from Lori Hargis, that's me. By attending, you agree to comply with these guidelines to ensure the privacy and integrity of the masterclass. For all questions, please click the hand on the control panel that you'll see on the right and type your question in the chat box at the bottom of the control panel. All questions will be kept until the end unless you have a technical problem. Can everybody hear me? There is no sound. I don't know why. Ruth has no sound either. Now can you hear me? Okay, great. All right, so I'm clicking through these. Sorry about that, you guys. I don't know why the sound didn't come on. But welcome to our Master Flower Essence class. Bring light and joy into your life with flower essences. Part 2, Abandonment. And I'm very excited today to be talking to you in our Part 2 class about abandonment, because abandonment is something that many people suffer from. I would say it's probably more than depression that leads us to trauma. And once we've had a trauma to our brain, what happens is it's just like we've been in a war. And we wonder why we can't function and we can't get out of certain patterns in our lives, or we go into certain addictions. A lot of times, the very base of our challenges with trauma is abandonment as a small child. And it comes in many forms that we're going to be talking to you about today. So, have you ever felt abandoned? How many of you have ever felt abandoned? I know I have personally. Yes. And how many of you have been physically abandoned in your life? Now, this could be from a, this could be from even a boyfriend, in a relationship. It could be that you were left by a grandparent. So it looks like quite a few of you have. So let's continue now and see a little bit more about abandonment. But first, I want to announce myself. I'm your master instructor, Lori Hargis, and I'm a registered aromatherapist, certified flower essence practitioner, and I am also a certified in kinesiology, and I also am certified as an iridologist and reflexologist. So I'm here today to talk to you about flower essences, one of my favorite healing modalities. And as I said yesterday, it was because a client called me in the middle of the night and had anxiety. And it was just in the very beginning of my practice, in the late 1980s. And I was just working with herbs and vitamins at that time. And she said, Lori, I can't sleep. I'm anxious. And I said, oh, well, take your B vitamins and, rest. And she says, there's more to this than just herbs and vitamins. And she was right. There was more to this than just working on the physical level. We are like onions and we are energetic. And flower essences are energetic. So the next day I went to my reflexologist herbalist who I was studying with in both of those healing modalities. And I looked above her door and there she had a beautiful sign that said flower essences. So that's how I got into flower essences and started using them myself and started having great results with my clients. And then I said, I am going to become a flower essence practitioner. So I went to Northern California with Richard Katz and Patricia Kamniski and became a flower essence practitioner. So with 38 years of my experience based on the latest scientific research and ancient teachings, today we're going to be talking about flower healing, and we're going to see some beautiful flower healing with our case study, which is part of our storytelling with the Lori method. And it's going to be done by our guest speaker, Mimi Russell. And we're going to do some breath work together and connecting our brain, gut, and health, and connecting all of our bodies. We're going to be incorporating this into our mental and emotional wellness to develop your self-confidence and knowledge today of flower essences. And you'll see in her case study how flower essences helped heal her client and what he was able to do. And we're going to be looking at formulations. Today, you're going to have Mimi's formulation and what she did for abandonment, and my formulation, and the different ways that you can use my formulation too. And all the different flower essences that are going to help direct your energy to be active, radiant, and giving. So I can't wait to share more with you. But first of all, let's get our feet flat on the floor and sit up straight. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths together, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Here we go. Now let's open our eyes and let's learn all about how flower essences can help with abandonment. So here's some questions for you. Feeling abandoned? Do you have emotional numbness and detachment from others? Or when people are telling you their feelings, you're not available? How many of you do that? Raise your hand. Okay. Thank you guys for sharing that. And do any of you have fear of intimacy and commitment? I don't see anybody that says that. Okay. Do any of you have unhealthy coping skills in relationships? Okay. Thank you guys for being so honest. And do any of you have trust issues? All right. It's great when you guys share because it opens you up. That way you'll understand more how the flower essences are going to help you. So, do any of you have emotional instability and insecurity? Do any of you find yourself clingy or codependent in your relationships? And how many of you suffer from low self-esteem and self-worth? All right. And how many of you are hyper vigilant with things? Everything has to be just perfect before you do something. And maybe you don't get on to the next thing. All right, there's quite a few of you on that too. And then how many of you have unhealthy and unstable relationship patterns? You know, one minute it's good, the next minute it's not. You're up and down, you're yelling, you're screaming, then you're silent, this type of thing. These are patterns that you've seen in your family, and also patterns that can develop from feeling abandoned in your family system or in your relationship or even in your work. So a beautiful story I have about a child client who was abandoned by her mother twice as an infant. What it was is I had a client, and that client had a sister, and the sister couldn't have any children. So she adopted one girl, and that girl was probably 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old, when she adopted the next little girl. And the next little girl was adopted, and they had her about 6 months. But in the state of California, if the mother wants the child and she can show that, you know, she has nice living quarters and all, you know, everything that's okay for the child, then the mother can take the baby back. And the mother took the baby back at 6 months, right before she was 6 months of age. 3 months later, the adoptive mother gets a call from the birth mother, and she says, can you take her back? I want to go snow skiing. And, you know, I don't want to take care of her anymore. So her adoptive mother takes her back. And when she got her back, when she bottle fed her, the baby had to sit against, her back was against her chest like this, and she had to hold the bottle in front of the baby, and the baby made no eye contact with her. So as we can see, she was already detached, wasn't she? She already had these abandonment issues. Twice she's been abandoned now by her birth mother, and she's already detached. And she's not at all attached to her adoptive mother because of this. So what happens in the story is we used these flower essences for her. Mariposa lily, which is for nourishing the soul. Golden eardrops helps you remember the trauma and let it go. Chamomile helps you have a very balanced and harmonious emotional life. And pink yarrow helps you with boundaries, emotional boundaries. So you have the spiritual strength to have good emotional boundaries with other people, and you're not merging into their stuff. Okay? So these are the 4 I used, and we'll be talking about those later on and why I used them and how I used them. But first of all, I'm going to let you know all the opportunities todays that you have before the end of the live stream and this master class. You have an opportunity to win my book and a 1-hour flower essence consultation with me when you enter the quiz, which is at the end. Sign up for the Flower Essence course and certification program and ask me any questions that you have. And also, Ruth and I are offering a free 30-minute individual discovery session, And so she'll put the link in there for that, so you guys can have a free 30-minute flower essence discussion. Now, Ruth is a flower essence expert, has been doing Bach flowers for over 30 years now. And she also has just completed the flower essence course from our school. So she will be getting her certificate to be a certified flower essence practitioner when her final case study comes through. So you can have a call with either of us. So she sent you the Set More link, so get signed up as soon as possible. So that way you can learn more about flowers and we can give you some help. So today you will learn what is abandonment, common signs of abandonment, how does abandonment affect your health and well-being, what is a flower essence, who was Dr. Bach, flower essences to restore your light and happiness, how to use flower essences for abandonment to restore your light and happiness, our abandonment case study and formulation with Mimi Tarte Russell, our quiz, how to continue your flower essence journey, and our Q&A. So what is abandonment? According to the American Psychiatric Association, abandonment is when you've been deserted or someone has a parent or primary caretaker has left you. Just like my case was with my client. And it can be a parent or primary caretaker of their custodial and other responsibilities to a dependent. Dependents are usually children, but also may be adult individuals who are ill and even the elderly. There can be children who don't take care of their parents and they are left abandoned too. There can be wars where children are abandoned by death. There are different kinds of abandonment: physical, emotional, general, complex, and self. And I really hadn't thought about self-abandonment much until I started studying all this and researching it before this master class. But the different kinds of abandonment, research has suggested that these may include physical abandonment, refers to someone physically doing something that triggers feelings of abandonment. So think about this. Physical behaviors that trigger abandonment include shutting down an argument where you just don't say anything anymore, not providing attention to someone, walking out on a partner during a fight, ignoring someone's texts or calls instead of addressing it, nipping it in the bud. Oh, I'll just ignore it, it'll go away. Not being physically present for a loved one, putting a child up for adoption, pushing someone away when they try to display physical affection. How many of you have ever done that or had that done to you? Raise your hand. Okay. Yes, quite a few of you. Emotional abandonment or neglect. This refers to someone who feels as though loved ones are not able to hold space for them, validate their emotions, or emphasize or empathize with them. Examples of emotional abandonment include not receiving validation or empathy when sharing their feelings with loved ones, feeling unloved by their friends or family, feeling as though emotions are not a priority to their loved ones, feeling unimportant to their loved ones, having bids for connection, getting rejected or missed. How many have you done this to someone or you have had it done to you? Yes. So we can see that abandonment is so far a very big issue within society and all societies, all of the with all of us human beings, and we can even see it in the animal kingdom too. So let's look at general or blanket abandonment, which refers to someone who feels abandoned by a loved one even when that person is present because the individual does not show them love, nurturing, or attention. This is often observed in children who do not feel like they're secure with their parents or caregivers because they do not provide them with love or affection or may not be fully physically present. Now, how many of you guys today see people who are on their phones, just like this one picture we have here of this couple, and they've got kids, and their kids are on their iPads, and nobody is present? How many of you guys see that? I see it all the time. People are not present for each other at all. So we're developing a general and blanket abandonment issue now for all of us, and especially our children. So, if you're allowing your children to be playing on something while you're all trying to eat dinner and you're on your phones, you all are doing a form of abandonment with each other. You are not present for each other. You're looking at social media, and it's because you're getting your dopamine from that. That's what you're getting from it. You're not getting any dopamine from this going on at the table here with the family, which is what needs to happen. We need to connect. But we've all got these that disconnect us. So think about that when you're with your grandchildren, when you're with your children, when you're with friends, or you're just having dinner with your spouse. This can all be also seen in relationships where one partner is not consistently emotionally or physically present. Then we have complex abandonment, refers to behaviors and situations that make someone feel abandoned, though the individual may not realize they're feeling abandoned, or they may feel like they can feel abandoned. Complex abandonment may lead a person to confused or even feel guilty about feeling abandonment. So examples, feeling abandoned after the death of a loved one. And Ruth and I were talking about that. And she says, Lori, when both my parents were gone, I felt like I was an orphan. I felt like I was an orphan. So we all can feel this way when our parents pass away, or someone very close to us, that was like a parent to us. Feeling abandoned by a partner or loved one who's very busy with work or priorities. I know I've done it to my partner, and I know he's done it to me. So, because we both loved our work. So there's that too. How many of you ever done that? Or your partner does it to you? Yes. We'll get in and me, I'll get on a class and, he's calling me, Lori, it's time for dinner. Because now he's retired, but I'm just working away. Number 3, feeling abandoned after experiencing empty nest syndrome. How many of you felt abandoned after your kids left? Okay, it's one thing. I've experienced a lot of stuff, but I didn't have that. My mother had that with us kids, because that's all my parents were doing, was participating with us as kids, from sports to 4-H to whatever it was, right? Water skiing, all of our vacations. And then once we all got married, we couldn't do all those things anymore. We were all working and having kids, and we could do certain things, but not like we did. So that was hard. That was hard on them. So let's go here to our final kind of abandonment, which is self-abandonment. And it occurs when an individual deprioritizes their own personal needs and prioritizes the needs of others. Oftentimes, these individuals expect others to reciprocate their behaviors and feel abandoned when their loved ones do not. So it's like you keep giving to people, and you feel that they should reciprocate, but they don't. And then you say, oh my gosh, look what all I do for them, and they do nothing for me. Many times, self-abandonment occurs in people who fear being abandoned by others. So there it goes. And that usually comes from in the family system as a small child. Examples of self-abandonment include people pleasing, And does anybody know who was in the flower essence course? The people-pleasing flower essence. Could you put it in the chat? Because I just want to see, because I think some of you guys are on, and I want to see if anybody recalls that. I'm going to go into the chat and see if anybody recalls. Does anybody recall that flower essence? That's for pleasing others. It is agronomy, and it's a beautiful yellow flower. Then number 2, having porous boundaries in relationships. So you don't know how to have good boundaries, and that's the one we're going to look at today. And I already mentioned it was pink yarrow. So remember that one. Not being able to say no. That is what? That's Centauri or Sentry. Sacrificing personal needs and prioritizing the happiness of others. So you put everybody else's needs before you. Maybe you don't even get up and take a shower because you're just busy going for everybody else. Maybe you do not eat correctly because you're too busy doing for everything else, and you wonder why your health is starting to go bad. Engaging in behaviors like rumination or perfectionism. So you just ruminate on stuff all the time. Because what you're doing is you're putting your energy out on everyone else. They don't care. They don't know. So why are you wasting your energy on everybody else when you could be making the space within yourself to have the energy and the energy out here in your energy field, so you don't have all their stuff in your energy field. You've got the good stuff in your energy field coming out here. The light, the joy, the happiness that you have within you. How many of you have ever done self-abandonment? I know I have. How many of you have? Raise your hands. Quite a few. All right. So let's see what we can do about it, okay? And let's see how it affects our health and well-being. It's important to understand that any form of abandonment, whether intentional or not, is a trauma experience. And yes, it is. It truly is. It can lead to anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, anxious avoiding attachment, anxiety, fear of being abandoned, depression, feeling unloved or worthless, just like we talked about yesterday. In the case study of Carolyn's, the client, he did not have good self-worth, right? He didn't feel good about himself, and he was tired. He had low energy, and he was depressed. PTSD, remember, when you've been abandoned, it's a trauma, so that goes into the brain, and that affects your brain just like PTSD does, like you've been in a war. That's why we're using flower essences to get that out of your energy field. Codependency, where you're always clinging to someone and you're always depending on them to, get your love and get everything from, instead of having it within yourself, having it out here in your energy field, so that way you aren't dependent upon them for that. It's great to be in the relationship with them and love them, but you're not dependent on them for your nurturing inside of yourself. And that's why this one flower that me and I both used is so beautiful. And relationship repetition syndrome, where you keep doing the same stuff over and over in your relationship. You keep having the same argument 30 years later. You keep doing the same things to each other. That's where flower essences really help us. So let's talk about what is a flower essence, because we have new people today on, and we always need to let them know that. So if you've heard it before, maybe you'll pick up on something new. So according to Dr. Bach, each living plant has an inherent original energy pattern. Flower essences are liquid potentized preparations, each carrying a distinct imprint of the character of the particular flower that addresses your imbalances mentally and emotionally within your soul, working through your energy field to help you let go of habits, addictions, and patterns. To obtain the original energy pattern of flowers, they are placed in a glass bowl with spring water and put in the sun 2 to 3 hours. So the sun is infusing the energetic pattern into the water, and thus it's called the sun method. The boiling method, where the flowers, leaves, and twigs are picked and boiled in spring water for half an hour. And this was developed all by Dr. Bach, who we're going to talk about right now. Dr. Bach was born in September 1886 in the north of England. He studied medicine in Birmingham and University College Hospital, London, where he was a house surgeon. Qualified as a doctor in 1912, private practice in Harley Street, working as a bacteriologist and a pathologist, and he was a homeopathic doctor. And like I said yesterday, in the early 1900s, even doctors in the US were homeopathics. And due to our political system, it changed, and they put us into the medical system that we have now, the allopathic system, more or less. So this is something that was interesting. He was a homeopathic, so he was already on this natural healing journey, right? In 1917, he collapsed while working on soldiers returning from the war in France. His colleagues operated on him to find he had a tumor in his spleen and he was severely hemorrhaging. His prognosis was very poor and he was given 3 months to live. Bach recovered and returned to work to advance his research in the short time he felt he was left to him. But as weeks went by, he began to get stronger. 3 months came, found him in better health than ever. He was convinced that his sense of purpose was what saved him. And this is what's interesting about flower essences, is they help you with your purpose in life. When we have a purpose in life, there's a lot of things that don't have as big an effect on us because we know we have a purpose. We know our purpose. We're doing our purpose. If our purpose is to be a mom and a wonderful grandmother, that's fantastic. If it's to be an engineer, whatever it is in your life that makes you feel good inside, that's your purpose. So he found that. After many years of working with patients, he began to see that no matter what medication or surgery he did, his patients weren't happy. This led him to stop his practice and decide he must do something that would change his patterns of the patients, right? Attitudes, addictions, so they could feel happy and know their purpose in life. When we've got all this stuff out here in our energy field, sometimes it's very difficult to stay on track and stay on your purpose. And that's what flower essences help us do. They help us release those patterns, release those addictions, release those family habits that we saw. So that way we can feel happy, we can have joy in our life, we can be light, just like Mimi's client and my little client. What happened to them? So we're going to go on to that. So yesterday we talked about flower essences for living in happiness and joy. And the flower essences we talked about yesterday that are yellow, because we have yellow flowers in all of our formulations. And the formulation I had yesterday, we had mustard, rock rose, and we had mimulus. In Carolyn's formulation, we had arnica down here, and buttercup. And in today's formulation of mine, we have golden eardrops, and in Mimi's formulation, we have hornbeam. So yellow flowers are connected to the solar plexus, right? Solar, sun, and as we see, they all are connected to the sun, these flowers. Where fears can be stored. These beautiful yellow blossoms open us up in the area, the solar plexus, and give us space to release our fears, panic, and depression, and help us to feel joy. So this is what yellow flowers do. And when you start understanding flower essences and you understand their signature, their color, their structure, then you also understand the imbalance they work on and the positive qualities that they give. That's why our flower essence course is so important. Even if you're just learning about flower essences for your family, yourself, and your friends, you don't want to be a practitioner. It's good to know this because when you go out in nature, then you're going to really understand what that flower is for. And then you're going to look at other plants and it's going to open you up to more plants and how they really work and why they work and how you can help yourself with them. And if you have clients, how you can help your clients. So the bright yellow flower that opens up your ears and brings up suppressed memories that I am talking about today in my case study for the child who was abandoned by her mother twice. The reason I used this flower essence for that child was because she had had earaches. Her physical body she was very thin, very wiry, and very tight. She didn't want anybody to hug her or touch her. Just like what she did when she wouldn't look at her mother straight in the eyes. She was so detached, right? So detached. And she would speak with you, and she was very good in school, straight A student. There we go, hypervigilant, right? However, she could play, but she really didn't play with other kids at school either. And her mother was really concerned about her adoptive mother. So the pattern imbalance was suppressed toxic memories of childhood, feelings of pain and trauma about past events affecting present emotional identity. And this definitely hit her directly on the head, this flower. The positive qualities is the ability to remember and understand core experiences that define the emotional history, nourishment, and insight from past experiences. So once you release the suppressed toxic memories of childhood, then what happens is you can nourish yourself with the positive things that you received in your childhood. That's why this one works so well. And it's interesting because as a reflexologist, most people I see have their ears are very tight in their feet, which is at, right, the toe right before the pinky, right? It's tight as a tick in there. And you'll go to the kidney and the kidney is tight as the tick too. And kidney in Chinese medicine is about fear, isn't it? And fears come up in the solar plexus, the yellow. It comes up there. And if it doesn't get to the heart, which is the bridge, the next chakra, which is the bridge, then it comes up to our throat chakra. And if we can't express it, which is when you're a baby or you're a small child, you don't know how to express these things. Then what it does is it gets suppressed, doesn't it? And then that's when this kind of stuff can lead to depression, anxiety, and all these different kinds of abandonments that we have. So this is such a great flower. And look what it does. It comes up like this. It pulls you up out of it. Golden eardrops does. It pulls you up and out of it and opens you up, doesn't it? If you look at it. And it's just such a beautiful flower. And it helped her so much get through all of this. The next flower essence, this one, the mother flower essence. I never want you to ever forget this flower because it represents the mother. And it just it's grown in the Sierra, it grows in the Sierra Nevada mountains in California. And when you see it, I've seen it, and it's just like there'll just be one or two little flowers, and it'll be in rocks, like it is right here, just by itself. And so it shows you the imbalance, how it's like by itself, right? That's the imbalance. But if you look at the flower itself, Mariposa lily, it's like a chalice. It's like this opening here of like the uterus. And it's saying, I'm warm, I'm feminine, I'm nurturing, and I'm connected to the mother. So the pattern of imbalance is alienated from mother or from mothering role, feelings of childhood abandonment or abuse, orphan state of consciousness. So it's like when you're born, and which is so important, your birth, if you're not given to your mother immediately and they take you off, right then and there, you've got some form of abandonment. And you are going to be bonding with the nurse or the father and not with the mother, because that is your first experience. And people don't think about this. They don't think about their birthing experience. They don't think about the consequences of their birthing experience. Of course, we have emergency situations. However, we need to be conscious of what we're doing as mothers when we're giving birth and after we've given birth. These are very important decisions that we are making for our children when they're born. So what can happen is you can use, if you've had any kind of abandonment issues or your child was taken away from you, Mariposa lily can be very helpful. And this is why this flower was so helpful to this little girl, because her mother had abandoned her twice. And she was ripped away from her adoptive parents. So even psychologically, she could have had some abandonment from them because they allowed her to go, right? We don't know. We don't know that. So it really helped her, because when she came back for her follow-up 1 month later, and because my kids were little too at the same time, she was playing with them, she was playing with her older sister, and she was really participating. And her mother said at school, she was playing with the kids more, and she was looking at them in the eyes, and she was looking at me in the eye when I was talking to her. So you could see that she was starting to really connect. And this is very important, because when we have these feelings of abandonment, we detach. We detach. And so no one can come in. And it's kind of like, if you think about it, it's kind of like being a ghost. You're here, but you're not here. So this is so beautiful, this flower. She's just gorgeous. So I hope that you guys use her, because she's really helped a lot of people. So the two things that you need to think about with Mariposa lily is receptivity and sensitivity. And in Mimi's case study, you're going to see how she used Mariposa lily, because her client became very sensitive due to his abandonment issue. And she's going to talk to you about all of that. And Mariposa lily has one of the most refined, subtle 3-cup-like petals, often covered with delicate flowers, and as a flower essence, works one of the most intimate issues of the soul, developing many aspects of receptivity and sensitivity. So you're able to receive, right? How many of you ever have problems receiving money from others? Raise your hand. How many of you ever have problems receiving money from others? Yes. This flower essence can help you with that. To be able to receive. Think of it, it's like this little, like I said again, it's like a little chalice, right? And those three little flowers coming around like that. And it helps you be able to receive. So it's just such a beautiful flower. And it's, see, look, it's right between two rocks here, just by itself. That's how it shows you the imbalance, but then it shows you the positive qualities with how the flowers are and what it draws in, receptivity, and also sensitivity. So the next flower that I used on the sweet little girl was the release emotional tension flower essence. That's what I like to call it. Because chamomile, as we know, in a herbal tea, it helps calm us down. In when you use it as an herb itself, it calms you down. When you use it as an essential oil, it helps calm you down, right? It's just one of those plants that is used in so many different ways. And as a flower, it helps you when you're easily upset, moody, irritable, inability to release emotional tension, especially in the stomach or solar plexus. And of course, that's when we take it as a tea, don't we? Or you use it as an essential oil. We use it to calm the stomach down or the solar plexus. And you know, look at it. It's got that cone head on it, doesn't it, in the center with all those little flowerets. And then the flowers come down like that. So it's taking the sunlight part of you and bringing that emotional balance to you by drawing that in, like right here at your solar plexus. So it helps us be serene, sun-like disposition and have emotional balance. Now let's look at the flower for appropriate boundaries. This flower is one that I absolutely adore and have used so much. It could be close, but it isn't. Close to my archetype flower. That's the flower that you always go back to help you, right? The flower for appropriate boundaries. Patterns of imbalance, unbalanced sympathetic forces, overly absorbent auric field, lack of emotional clarity, dysfunctional merging with others. The positive quality is you have loving awareness of others within a field of self-contained consciousness. So you have appropriate emotional boundaries. You're not merging with other people. You're not going off and just thinking about them all the time. It's not your business. I tell myself every day, Lori, that's not your business. Stay out of it. Bye-bye. Especially when I have clients. They come and they go. And I have to say, when they tell me their problems, I have to tell them goodbye. And when they come back the next time, we can discuss it. Or if they ask me for a flower and essential oil blend, then I have to think about it, right? And make something appropriate. But otherwise, I don't need to take their stuff. And you don't need to take anybody else's stuff either. If it's not appropriate, it's not appropriate. Especially as healers. So the reason I use the pink yarrow is because she had an inappropriate, let's go back to it. Let's go back to that flower because I really want you to look at it. She had inappropriate boundaries. And these inappropriate boundaries were because her mother had abandoned her. And so she didn't know where her boundaries were as a child. So she became very stiff, right? Became very, very, very stiff, hyper vigilant, because I don't know how I fit. I don't know who's going to like me. I don't know who's going to, I don't feel secure with anybody. So I'm just here on my own. But what this flower does is As you look at yarrows, and we're going to be talking about another yarrow Mimi's case study, is yarrows, look at the flowers, how they come up, the flowerets of it, they come up, and it's like an umbrella protecting you. And that's what they do. That's what yarrows do. So one thing you learned today is yarrows are for protection. Just get that in your head. Yarrows are for protection. Yellow flowers help with the solar plexus, help you open up. So you got two things now, right? So I want to explain how this child recovered. So she recovered from the abandonment through the lovely flowers of mariposa lily, pink yarrow, golden eardrops, and chamomile. So when I had taken, what they did is we had our flower essence practitionership, and then they would have in that September after that, they would have us have a weekend where all the practitioners came, or people who wanted to be practitioners, anybody could come. We would discuss case studies. And there was one before I ever saw this little girl who was doing sand tray therapy, play therapy, and she was having children draw. So I thought, okay, when this little girl comes back, I'll have her draw. Well, this isn't her picture because it was burned in the fire when I took all my files to France. It was burned in our fire that we had. But she drew me a picture while she was there after the 1 month. And she drew me a picture, and I found a picture that was kind of similar. Two trees. However, though, she was very detailed because she was a very detailed person. She drew me mariposa lily, pink yarrow, golden eardrops, and chamomile. That kid had never seen any of those flowers in her life. Her mother was, they were not people who got into nature, into plants, and they didn't drink herbal teas or anything like that. This little girl had no clue about that, except that she had been taking them. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, how beautiful that these flowers now have come into her energy field, and she can even draw them now. And she doesn't even know these flowers, but she does know these flowers because they're out here in that energy field, helping her feel nurtured, protected, thinking of the positive things in her life, and having emotional balance. So, what a great story, huh? And what a great reason for you to learn even more about flower essences. So you're going to learn about what is energy first. And energy is, you're going to learn about energy and water. And you're going to understand why energy and water are so important, and how within your body, and when learning about what a flower essence really is and how they work. You're going to learn the history of flower essences, and you're going to understand the archetypes of flowers, because you're going to learn your archetype, and you're going to have a 1-hour consultation with me, and we're going to look at that together, and I'm going to make you a blend. We'll be studying the unique characteristics of flower essences from Dr. Bach. There'll be 38 of them that you will study, and 12 from the Flower Essence Society in California. You'll learn how to make a flower essence, how to select flower essences and combine them, how to use flower essences for different populations, and different selecting techniques. So you can just take the course if you just want to learn about it for yourself and you don't want to be a practitioner. Just take the course. It's $997. It's done on GoToTraining. We meet weekly. It's live with me. You have your course notes, videos. You have a recording every single week. So if you miss 1 week, you can always go to the recording and you'll be sent the PDF file and the videos and everything. And we have 2 payment plans, 3 months and 6 months. Ruth's going to put the links inside the chat. So make sure you get signed up as soon as possible, and you can go to our site that Ruth has just put the link to. And I offer it only once a year. So how can learning about flower essences help you? Well, if we look at the different things about abandonment, flower essences can help you with embodiment, just like what Carolyn did with her client with arnica. Have intimacy and commitment with people. It's what Carolyn's showed her, and also Mimi's case study, because Mimi's case study, when it comes up, you're going to see how this person totally changed. Learning how to cope with the challenges that come up every day. We all have challenges that come up every day. Life is not, life is like this, right? We all have ups and downs. We're all on the roller coaster together. So, but flower essences, just like with a chamomile, can help you have more of emotional balance. Be honest and trust others. I think that's one of the biggest things in society that we all suffer from, is the lies we've been told and the lies we tell ourselves. And flower essences, especially if you get into the monkey flowers like we talked about yesterday, pink monkey flower is for honesty, and really will help you see how you are in relationships and what levels you are on with people about being honest and also trusting them. You're going to ground and establish emotional stability and security. So flowers help you do this. They help ground you and establish that emotional stability and security, like we're seeing with chamomile. Balance of polarities of love and power. The thing is when a lot of times, because like my age group, we were the age group that came out and was my mother's age group, they were like secretaries. My age group said, basically, you can go out, be a CEO, be what you want to be, right? And so what that did is it put pressure on us differently. It made us have pressure in a masculine area more. So it gave us this thing where, okay, we're more masculine because we got to act like men, we got to be like men because we got to work with men. I've been on boards where I'm the only woman. I've been in business class where I was the only woman on the airplane in business class. I arrive in China. I'm the only woman at breakfast at the hotel that morning. It's all businessmen except me. So what that does is it makes you more masculine sometimes than feminine. And flower essences can help you with that. And there's one flower essence that's fantastic for that. Write it down. It's called quince. It's a beautiful little red flower. And if Mimi wants to say something about that, she can later on. They also help you with self-confidence and to value yourself. So that way you give yourself the space and the place and let this abandonment issues go away. Being in the present moment, being the present moment for yourself, being in the present moment for others. So you're not always doing this, or you're not always doing this, or you're not always ignoring somebody like this. Oh gosh. You communicate it. Tell a person, hey, I can't hear it today. That's just a healthy boundary, right? And that's what this is about, the next one. It's like the pink yarrow deal. Release unhealthy and unstable relationship patterns. So that's what flower essences do. They help us release those patterns so we don't get stuck in addictions. Because it's usually some family pattern that's been passed down, or it is a habit that we saw our parents do, and then it can become an addiction for us. Okay, whatever. Say, your father went to food when he got upset. So you eat. I couldn't figure out why one of my friends was overweight. I never could. God, when she was with us, she never ate anything. She was getting up in the middle of the night and eating a gallon of ice cream. How would we, as her friends, we'd known her since kindergarten. How would we have known such a thing? But that's what she was doing. So, we just don't know what's going on in someone else's life. And flower essences, though, can help us when our friends do communicate with us, when our clients do communicate with us. Hey, I am not doing well today. I'm feeling this way. And there's always a flower. The power of the flower is fantastic. So let's look at our online flower essence practitioner certification program. You start developing skills by conducting 3 case studies. You receive client skills and ethics. You learn techniques to find out what your clients need. And we also look at how you can develop your intuition, which is kind of knowing what flower could work for your client and then discussing with your client, well, this flower does this. You're explaining to me, is this what I'm hearing? And you repeat back what they said to you exactly. Because again, this is not your business. This is you facilitating and helping them find what flower can help them. And then they say, no, that doesn't fit me at all. Or yes, I think that fits me in this situation. So you're going to expand if you're already an aromatherapist, if you're a naturopathic doctor, if you are a chiropractor, if you are a regular medical doctor, a nurse. You can expand, or you just want to be a practitioner and you want to start being a flower essence practitioner. You can expand your practice to accompany clients with emotional healing through the power of flowers. That's 10 weeks. It's only two weeks more. And you have 10 modules. Again, you have the live weekly group coaching calls with me. It's on GoToTraining, this platform. You have an individual flower essence session with me, and you have an individual curriculum call with Sue, our curriculum manager, for all your case studies. You have 3 case studies that need to be turned in within a year, and your investment is $1,497. And if you're in our Common Sense community, you get a 10% discount. And then we have payment plans, 3-month and 6-month payment plans, and Ruth will send those to you in the chat. So, and it's only offered once a year. So we can't wait to have you in our Flower Essence program or our Flower Essence Practitioner Certification course. It begins on Monday. So get signed up by Saturday. That way we can send you the links and all the stuff so you can get going. And we also want you to know that you won't need the 38 flowers and the other 12 the first week. But the great thing is right now, Flower Essence Services, who we suggest everyone get them from in the States and in other countries, we can help you with that, is they are going to be upping their prices in February, the beginning of February. So it'd be great if you got yourself stuff ordered during next week for the course. So it's 38 Bach flower remedies, and we will send you the 12 that you need. And you will need this book here, the Flower Essence Repertoire. You will need that. And this gives you all the flower essences in it. And I have one of these. This is my oldest one. I think it was made in, I don't know, 1984, I don't know, something like that. And then of course I have newer ones, but those are in France. So I have one with me at all times. And like one of my students said, it's like your Bible, Lori. My flower essence Bible, I should say. So we hope that you will join us, Ruth and I. So how to use flower essences for abandonment to bring light and joy into your life. Direct application. We didn't talk about this yesterday, but what you can do is you can take your flower essence, and this is a flower essence I have from Hawaii. it's papaya. And you can just take the flower essence, and we learn this in our common sense community. Put it on your wrist like this, your pulse points, like I just did, right? Rub it in and rub your pulse points like this. Voila. You can also put it on behind your, on the back of your neck, which I didn't write there, so write that down. And then you also can put it on behind your ears like this. And then remember your pulse points in your elbows and behind your knees. What would be the reason that we would do that? What would be the reason? Does anybody know? I'm going to go into our chat and look real quick here. Anybody know the reason why we would do that? Yes, your meridians. And what else? All the meridians, right? We'd work on the meridians here. That was Mimi just said that energetically. And the thing is when you use, because you learn about water again in energy, and when you put it on points, there's already a little well there waiting. If they're waiting for you to bring something into it. And so the flower essence goes into that pressure point like that, goes into that little well there that you have. And like Kathy said, quicker absorption, because that's where your main blood cells are, right? I mean, not blood cells, your major veins are, okay? So it goes in there really quickly. So yes, two great points. Thank you, Kathy, and thank you, Mimi. You guys are awesome. So dosage, you take your flower essences under the tongue 4 times a day, like this, okay? And you take them in the rhythm of your body, is how you take them. And so if you wake up at 10 in the morning every day, you take your flower essence. Then you take it after lunch, you take it mid-afternoon, and then you take it before you go to bed. That's in the rhythm of your day, okay? Now, if you are having an immediate crisis like my previous husband had, he had a horrible accident on a farm, not himself personally, but he saw it. And his friend was killed right in front of him. And he was not touched by it. A woman came in her car and hit him. And he was standing right next to my husband's truck. Like my husband's truck was here. And his friend was standing, just talking to him through the window. Her car came along the side of my husband's truck, did not touch it, killed his friend in front of him, and then her car went end over end. And I got a call, and my husband's boss called me and said, Lori, you got to get here. There's been a horrible accident. I grabbed my rescue remedy, which is from Dr. Bach. It's for stress, trauma, and shock. And I took it to the accident, and his boss was there, and so was the chaplain. The chaplain told me, he said, what your husband's went through is like he was in a war, because when people stopped, they just went over and started stealing out of his friend's truck. He said it was like he was in a war within 2 minutes, a war zone. So he said he's probably going to need a lot of help. He'll need therapy and stuff. And his boss said, we will do whatever we can to help him and, pay for everything. So I gave him the rescue remedy, and he started taking it. But this guy would do herbs, he would do vitamins, he would do homeopathics, he would do everything else, except he just thought my flower essences were kooky and gooky. But he took them. I said, take the rescue remedy. So he starts taking it, and take it as often as you need it. So it's not drink the whole bottle down, it's take 4 drops under the tongue, because the strength of dosage is increased by the frequency of dosage, not the amount. You never need to take more than 4 drops at a time, but there's no danger of overdose from taking them, because your energy field out here will only take what it needs. That's what's so great about flower essences. That's what's wonderful, because you can use them with children, dogs, plants, animals, everybody. And so you don't have the contraindications that you do with other things, all right? There's not this overdose or worrying about if they have high blood pressure or worrying about this or worrying about that. So he started using it. He never had a nightmare. He slept all night that night. He cried at the funeral like you normally do when someone dies. And he never had PTSD over it. He could still drive. He still was on the farm. He still was doing all the normal things. And after that, when he would teach, because he also was a massage therapist, when he would teach the massage part of the course and I would teach the flower essence part of the course, he would always say, Lori, I'm going to give my testimony. And he would stand up and tell everybody, I never believed, Lori, I never believed in flowers till I had this accident and how it helped him. And he never had to go to counseling, which was really incredible from what he experienced. So I just want to let you guys know, you take them just 4 drops at a time. You don't have to take the whole bottle. I had clients take a whole bottle. They left. Hour later, they call me, Lori, I took the whole bottle. I'm like, oh, please. It's not going to hurt you, but why? I'll have to come and get a bottle, another bottle. So just warn your clients. Other methods of administration are place 20 drops in bath water and circulate in a figure 8 motion. Add 4 drops of flower essences to 2 ounces amber misting bottle. And I'm going to give you formulations now for this, okay, with these applications. So remember these applications for our, so this is back in the womb bath. And it's 4 drops of Mariposa lily, 4 drops of pink yarrow, 4 drops of golden eardrops, and 4 drops of chamomile. So it's the blend that I use for the client, the little girl. And the reason I called it back in the womb bath is because I was seeing a therapist in France, and I was talking about how I love to take baths and how my brother and sister do. He goes, oh, Lori, you guys are like going right back in the womb. You know, it makes you feel safe and secure. And I was like, oh, he's so right. So that's why I named it back in the womb bath. So you just put your flower essences in the bath water, mix the flowers into the water with your hand in a figure 8, and you've got a beautiful back in the womb bath. Easy, simple. And you know, you can do this with children, children that have been abandoned, or you feel like maybe you don't feel close to your child, maybe there's a disconnect. You can put it in the bath water. Feeling anxious, 4 drops Mariposa flower essence, 4 drops golden eardrops, 4 drops pink yarrow, and chamomile. And what you do is you put it in an amber bottle, and like this, I couldn't find an amber bottle with a dropper thing on it. This is more like an essential oil. But as we know, we can mix them with flower essence, with essential oils, and do roller balls. But what you can do is just do like what I did before is you can put it there, and then you can just put it in underneath your tongue or put it on your pulse points. Like this, or like this, like that. Okay, like that. And just rub it in. All right, contraindications: do not use alcohol-based flower essences or blends with children, animals, or pregnant women. Place alcohol-based flower essence blends in hot tea or hot water to evaporate the alcohol, then use. Now, the thing with the bath is it's gonna evaporate, so it doesn't matter when you take a bath. And here's separation anxiety spray. Now, this can be used with dogs, with any kind of animal, because a lot of dogs have separation anxiety when their owner leaves, especially after COVID. They were used to their masters being at home, and now they're not. So this can be very beneficial for your dog. You can use it as a spray. You can make it in a dropper bottle. And what you do is you can just spray it on your hands, put it on the dog. Don't spray it at the dog. You know, don't ever spray on somebody. It's very obtrusive. Always, if you're going to take a spray, you can spray it around people, you know, around in their energy field, or you can spray it in your hand and apply it on their points, or they can spray it and do that too. So that's a a way to use a spray for anxiety spray, and some small children do too, so you can just spray it around them. And that way, if you have small children and you don't want to use essential oils around them because there's contraindications in certain ones, you can just spray the flowers around them instead. You say, oh, we're going to have a little spray now, a little flower spray, and they'll start asking you for it. So overview of these formulations. Mariposa lily helps the soul, which was this beautiful flower right here. The soul to divine feminine archetype with the ability to nurture and feel nurtured. While golden eardrops is a powerful cleanser of the heart. That's going to be on the test, so remember that. And once the individual experiences this cleansing process, there's the ability to contact the positive aspects of the past. And then we have beautiful chamomile, helps the soul to have harmonious emotional life. Pink yarrow teaches that true compassion comes from the heart, which is in touch with its own spiritual strength. What a beautiful flower blend. And it was so wonderful to see how she healed. So I'm so excited to announce our guest speaker, Mimi Russell. She is a registered aromatherapist, a certified flower essence practitioner, and she came from our school. So I'm very proud because she's done such a beautiful job. And an aromatherapy practitioner. She's based in Panama, Central America. Mimi understands that each individual is unique and their personal journey towards well-being should be tailored to their specific needs. She employs various techniques in her practice, including personalized essential oil blends, flower essences, and acupoints. Mimi is dedicated to empowering others to embrace gentle, effective methods for nurturing the mind, body, and spirit on their path towards balance and harmony. Her adaptability and commitment to excellence have allowed her to work with a good range of clients, both locally and abroad. The client she's going to be talking today is abroad. And she's passionate, enthusiastic about the advancement of professional aromatherapy in a region. Mimi is currently the Alliance of International Aromatherapists representative for Latin America and a committee member of the Research Academy. So isn't that great? All right, I'm going to put you on here, Mimi. I'm going to bring you on. Let me see here. Where is Mimi at? Here she is. I'm going to turn your sound on. And if you want to put your camera on, you're more than welcome. I'll take mine down. I'm going to send you an unmute request. There you go. And then I'm going to take my slide down. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to take my slide down and I'm going to put up your case study, Mimi. Can we hear you, Mimi? Ruth, let me know if she's trying to talk. I can't hear you. Can anybody else? Mimi, what you might want to do is do what I did. Turn your mic off and then turn it back on. See if that helps, because that's what helped me. Yeah, Ruth said no sound. So just go to your points there, and I'm going to share my... I don't know, for some reason today we're having a challenge with sound. Let me see here. Let me go here. Nope, we can't hear you. So go to your settings and check your settings on your computer to see if your sound is working. So what you'll do is you'll go to where there's three little dots. I hope it's the same on your computer. I don't know. I'm on a Mac. And go to settings, and you'll on settings, you'll see that there is audio, and you'll see if your audio is functioning properly. So while Mimi is getting that done, Mimi's story is a very beautiful story with this man. And I really want to talk about that because right now, men are finally coming out and talking about their feelings. And I just think it's wonderful that this man did that, and that he, as she talks about this,
Okay. Can you
oh,
hear me?
yes, great, fantastic.
Awesome.
All
Awesome.
right, there we go.
And you can go ahead and turn on my camera if you want, Lori. It's
Okay,
fine.
let me go to cameras and let me see here. I've got to fix that in the settings real quick. We turned all the cameras off, but I will go to Ruth, can you go into settings and do that for me? Turn the cameras on, please.
And if not, while they're doing, I can start if you want.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to turn my camera off. And thank you so much, Mimi, for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very excited and I am very happy to have all of you here. So I'm saying greetings from Panama. And while Ruth is working on putting my camera on, I'm just going to go ahead and start. My client, I have now allowed camera. So, okay, great. Let's see if that works for me. Thank you so much, Ruth. Okay, there you are. So my client is a man in his 50s, 60s, I'm sorry, and he is a U.S. Marine veteran. His work currently was, or at the time, was very enjoyable with lower to moderate stress and not very physically straining for him, nor mentally demanding. He loves to work. And lately, what happened to him was that he had been experiencing fatigue that did not correspond to his level of activity at all. And his sleep pattern was stable, and he maintained a very healthy diet. He has, at the time, had very little to no social life at all, and only one good friend. And he usually didn't feel comfortable in social situations or in crowds. He was overly sensitive to the presence of other people, to changes in the environment, to changes in weather even. And, he had a strong reaction to lights and sounds. His wife abandoned him and married the next door neighbor. And that happened over 20 years ago. He never remarried after that, nor did he embark on any other serious relationship. He is now estranged from his only daughter that he had, and for whom he made a lot of sacrifices, financial sacrifices, to provide her with a good education. She refuses to talk to him or allow him to see his grandchild after she tried to take control of his finances, and he refused. And this is a source of great sorrow as he adores his family and always took very good care of him. When he was a child, his parents divorced. His mother was struggling financially, and he went to live with his father. His father took in a foster care young girl with whom the father started to have a sexual intimacy relationship. And sometimes this happened even in front of his male children, including my client. My client has a very strong moral code, and he called up his father upon his conduct repeatedly. He saw this foster girl as his sister, and the father refused to halt the sexual abuse of this minor, and the client continued to call him up on this. One day, when he was around 11 years old, he went to school, and when he came back, he found himself homeless when he returned to the trailer park where they lived. His father had abandoned him and left him there to fend for himself. He never stopped going to school, not even for a day. He survived several weeks in the woods where he had taken refuge before being rescued by a teacher from his school. When he eventually contacted his mother, she asked him if he wanted to live with her, but he declined because he didn't want to burden her financially more than she already was. The mother didn't insist, and he also didn't want to be taken into juvenile detention care or put into foster homes. So he went to live for a while with this teacher whom he trusted. But when the client turned around 12 years old, this teacher began to sexually abuse him. She threatened to turn him over to social workers or to the police if he refused to comply with what she wanted from him or if he told anybody. He went through this abusive relationship until he was old enough to get a job. He supported himself through high school. During his last year in school, thank God, his mother remarried, and he was finally able to live with her and his stepfather, whom he loved. At last, he had a more normal life, and despite not ever getting counseling over his trauma, he went on to become a US Marine, graduated from the university, and completed 2 master's degrees. Despite his ordeal, he is a very sweet and loving person, always looking at the good side of people and situations. He longs to belong, to be loved and to love, yet he does not seem to make an effort to socialize. He's not bitter about his past, but he has been unable to forgive his father for what he did to him, and even refused to go to his funeral. The constant betrayals from those he trusted most, his father, teacher, wife, and daughter, have made him very guarded. At the time, I took his the client information, his medical information. He was at the time only taking 100 milligrams of losartan daily to regulate his high blood pressure. He was using an aromatherapy inhaler, which has replaced his former allergy pharmaceuticals. And the client has complained about unexplained fatigue, which, like the allergies, are usually exacerbated when he's out in social situations, when there are changes in the weather, or when he is exposed to chemicals and sanitizers. He would like to feel energetic and not tired all the time, and he would also like to improve his overall wellness. He agreed on a treatment protocol to promote the healing of the abandonment wounds he experienced in his childhood and to help improve his energy levels. So what we did was we used, first of all, I have to say that the fact that he was abandoned in the woods forced him to become very sensitive to his environment, to any changes in his surroundings, to how people looked at him or related to him. And this also resulted in a hypersensitivity that at times is not exactly desirable. And like Lori mentioned before, there was hypervigilance. So we decided to use yarrow. Lori used in her case study pink yarrow, but I used yarrow. And actually, the reason why I chose yarrow at the time was I didn't have pink yarrow. Otherwise, maybe I would have used pink yarrow, but I had yarrow, which also was going to serve as a protective, energetic umbrella over him and to help him deal with the sensitivities. Um, we He had an extreme vulnerability to others, and like I said, and yarrow was, very good for that. The flower is indicated for those who are affected by environmental illnesses or allergies, and for those whose energies can be depleted by negative energies. So I wanted the client to develop a stronger auric field so that he can be more comfortable or more comfortably interact with others, as well as with the surrounding environment. I used also dill flower essence because it is advisable for those who are also hypersensitive to sensory stimulation or who experience sensory congestion, which would show in my client as congestion in his ears and in his sinuses as well. This flower essence can help the client feel less overwhelmed by the stimulation that both people and the conditions around him generate. It can also help to harmonize the psychic life within the context of daily work and modern living. I also use shooting star because it is recommended for those who feel alienated and who hold back from full participation in earthly life. This flower is used to help the soul to fully incarnate, not dissociate so much. We included it in our synergy because the client often feels as if he does not belong anywhere, perhaps cause of the instability, neglect, abuse, and abandonment that he experienced during childhood. I also added baby blue eyes. I love that name, Nemophila menziesi, because it is recommended for those who did not have the help and support they required during childhood, especially from the father. And our client's father disappeared and left, abandoning him in a park. He also never truly provided for him emotionally, and our client grew up without a sense of security, and the little protection that he received while still living with his father was taken away from him. And like Kaminsky and Katz have said in the flower essence repertoire, such souls find it difficult to let down their guard. They tend to develop a protective shelf of defensiveness. So this flower essence could be helpful not only to help the client heal the issues he had with his father, but it can also be useful in making him feel less guarded and more open to develop healthy relationship with others and be more trusting and less socially isolated. It didn't matter that his father had already passed away, because even when our loved ones have gone through the transition, we can still make peace with them. I added also Mariposa Lily that Lori was mentioning, that is recommended for people who lost contact with their mother or who were abandoned due to separation or financial difficulties. And although his mother didn't abandon him on purpose, he didn't have her with him for a long time. So this flower essence can also contribute to help him overcome and heal the abandonment that he suffered as a child and clear his orphan state of consciousness, like Lori mentioned. We also added hornbeam, and it is indicated for cases of fatigue of unknown reason or cause, for the tiredness that is not congruent with the physical activities that the client was performing. And although the client expressed that he loves his work, I felt that he might be a little overqualified for it. This flower essence is advised for those who feel too tired also to face the tasks of the day, largely due to inner resistance. And this inner resistance made me think about the amount of energy required from this client in resisting and guarding himself from others and from the world. And finally, I added self-heal. And I remember when I took your training, Lori, that you mentioned to always add self-heal no matter what, because it makes people take responsibility for their own healing journey. And I have to say that you not only, I mean, I'm following it because your advice, but also I noticed that at one point I didn't add it for a few clients because I wanted to use less flower essences, and the results were not as good as when I actually include self-heal, Prunella vulgaris, because it provides also a gentleness to the transformation process that goes on with the clients when they embark on their road to wellness. So my client evaluation, after one day, I checked on him and he took 1 drop of the synergy for the first dose. I advised him to take it slowly at first because the amount of trauma that was being held in his body was quite large. He seemed to respond well, so he took 2 drops of the synergy on the second dose, 3 drops of the synergy on the third, and 4 drops on the fourth dosage. He was instructed to continue taking 3 drops 4 times a day for a week only, just 3 drops 4 times a day for a week. After a week, the client has responded well to the treatment. He says he has been feeling great overall. His fatigue and tiredness have begun to subside. He was instructed then to take the full dosage of the synergy at 4 drops 4 times a day. 1 month after that, the client has apparently been experiencing reactions to the flower essence synergy, which was something that I was very concerned about. And this could be described as a healing crisis. His allergies suddenly flared up, allergic rhinitis, and nothing he was doing was working properly to calm it down, not even the inhaler. After he decreased the number of times he took the synergy from 4 to twice a day, his allergies calmed down. He had been taking the synergy twice a day for the last 2 weeks, and I told him that it would have been a good idea to let me know about it when it happened. His allergies calmed down. I asked him to try to increase the number of times he took the synergy to 3 times a day for that week, and to call me if his allergies increased or if there were any changes. He stated that he wanted to try to increase the dosage to 4 times a day. I advised him to take it very easy and keep it at 3, and that we would have a follow-up 1 week from that day. When we did that, the client actually surprised me. He didn't follow my instructions given, and instead of taking the synergy 3 times a day, he went with his intuition and increased it to 4 drops 4 times a day. His allergies are not bothering him at that point, and he felt better than ever, he stated. Furthermore, he is no longer feeling tired. The client reported having dreams in which he returns to the place where he was abandoned in the trailer park woods. He was also having dreams in which he sees some scenes from his childhood. And that during that week, he also began to go out during the weekends to socialize a little bit. The client had additionally made plans to attend his high school reunion for the first time ever. And he will also be visiting his mother along the way. The client's response after 2 months, the client actually returned from his trip to attend his high school reunion. And during our consultation follow-up, he showed me the pictures of the places that he had told me about during our consultations. He visited the trailer park where he was abandoned in the woods, and the woods that cradled him. He visited his junior high school. Likewise, he attended his high school reunion and said that he had a good time. He enjoyed seeing his classmates. He still does not feel very comfortable with loud music, but this is due to an ear injury inflicted during his time of service. On his way to and from the reunion, he stopped to visit his mother, spending a few days with her. Now in her old age, he's trying to convince her and his special needs brother to move in with him. The client says that he no longer feels anger towards his father. He says that forgiving his father in his heart simply happened. This seemed to have happened without him actually making an effort to forgive him. He also stated that although he still thinks and feels that what his father did to him was wrong, he can now see this from a place of discernment and not from a place of judgment. He says that he also feels that he has made peace with this part of his past. The conclusion that we reached after seeing the client repeatedly is that he had lived with deep grief and emotional pain and a lot of resentment caused by having been abandoned as a child. The betrayal and the abuse inflicted upon him by those who should have provided security and protection had made him guarded and avoidant of social interaction. I believe there is a possibility that being abandoned in the woods without any shelter, where he lingered for weeks, made him sensitive to his environment, like I mentioned before, and to the surrounding energies. This was necessary for his survival at the time, as he learned to be alert and to potential dangers around him. Nonetheless, because of the circumstances experienced, this sensitivity turned into hypersensitivity towards both people and the environment. Going through life in pain that has not fully had an opportunity to heal, always maintaining a guarded defense and avoiding social situations require a lot of misdirected energy. There might have been little energy conservation, and this added to the fact that he is perhaps working in a job where he cannot fully put to work all of his capacities, might have been producing a little boredom, and this would explain his feelings of fatigue and tiredness. The client has begun an inner healing journey in which he was able to confront his past, forgive the shortcomings of his parents, and he is also slowly socializing and has become less avoidant of people and to situations. At the same time, this healing may have been reflected upon his allergies, which have subsided. This is most interesting about him, that I find what I find most interesting about his journey is that he seemed to require very little time to make extremely profound changes, almost as if they had been just waiting for a catalyst to happen. His response was surprising when he went from almost zero social interaction to traveling to his school reunion and revisiting his past. The client reports that his energy levels have returned to normal. He says that he feels he has a more positive outlook and feels less stressed. And he also stated that he feels the synergy brought up issues that needed to be addressed, but that he was able to deal with them in a calmer way, less stressful way. He also commented that the shape of things seemed more clearly defined. The colors seemed more vibrant. All of a sudden, like somebody turned on the lights. He also stated that he looks forward to continuing his healing journey with the help of flower essences as required, and he is very excited about it. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening.
Oh, beautiful, Mimi. And Mimi, I want you to tell them what now has happened to this client.
Well, I felt that he had a very interesting story, and I thought it would be a good idea for him to write about it. Um, and he took me up on it, and he actually went ahead, wrote about it, and published a book on Amazon, which is for sale right now. I mean, um, in the book, he's still very guarded about selling it all like it is, but I find that it is extremely valuable for anyone who has felt that they are conditioned by their past, or that their past is going to be in their way of them achieving things, or that they're doomed because of things that have happened to them, or the things that they have done. I mean, this is a testimony about somebody who went through a terrible ordeal and made it through the other side splendidly.
Beautiful. Isn't that great? Everybody give Mimi a big hand for doing such a beautiful job on this case study and helping her client. And also for her client, I mean, he has great courage. And I think flowers were helping him out there in that energy field when he wrote the book. That is just great. So Ruth has the link. If you guys want to purchase it, you can order it directly from Amazon. And does anybody have any questions for Mimi? Mimi, is your camera still on?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. So I'm just gonna let go to the chat and see what kind of questions we have for you here. So Ruth said, what a beautiful case study. Thank you, Mimi.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Betty said, Mimi, what a beautiful result with your work. It made me cry. Um,
I'm,
uh,
I'm, I'm trying not to cry. I've been trying not to cry the whole time because it's a very, I mean, it's a story about, that, like he says in the book, about the light sustaining somebody through our darkest moments, never to lose faith.
yes, yes. And he really shows that to us, doesn't he? He really, um, he shines the light, like he says in his book, on that we can make a better life for ourselves.
Exactly.
It's so beautiful, just beautiful. And I understand why you would have tears, because it's tears of joy for me, um,
Yes.
that he's able to heal himself and how flowers helped him so beautifully. Oh, It's so gorgeous. So let me see. Marcia has a little question here.
Sure.
Um, I don't know if it's for yours. Oh, Marcia wants to know if the blends that I asked that I gave would work for someone who committed the abandoning. Marcia, I think it's possible because usually if someone abandons others, they've been abandoned themselves.
Mhm.
However, you could, you need to really look at the person's situation and go through the flowers and ask them if those would work for them. Um, and make sure that you have the right flowers for them. Does anybody have a question for Mimi and this beautiful case study that she's done? She's here if you have any questions about, anything about the flowers, about, how she did it. Mimi, we were talking earlier before you came on, well, a couple days ago, and you were saying that, uh, because you were able to dial in on him so much. So what did you get from the flower essence course that you took?
Well, I think that the most important thing that I got from the course, and this might sound counterintuitive, but I mean, you offered a complimentary consultation with you. And when you gave me that consultation, it served as a pattern for me to follow. And I noticed how you were 100%, I mean, 200% into me listening, not just with your ears, but with your eyes, with everything, with your body, everything. And that allows the practitioner to actually tap into the field of the client so that they can pinpoint the exact flower essences that that person needs. And I was so surprised by you, and I'm going to talk about it because you gave me the go ahead to talk about it. But you were able to figure out in record time that I needed quince. Do you remember that, Lori?
Yes.
And I don't know if you want to talk about why I needed quince.
Well, because, when people fill out their forms and they send them to you, you had mentioned and talked about how you had been in a high powered job.
Right.
And you had to really be very masculine in your job. And when you were talking about that, it just, the little red flower like came in my mind, and it was like quince, quince, quince.
Absolutely. And, for the longest time, I had this issue that, I felt that if I was, because the people that know me, they know that I am I'm a sweet person. I'm a very soft person. But I felt that if I was myself, I was not, whenever I was myself, I was not being taken, um, I was not taken seriously. So I had to come on strongly than I perhaps wanted, and perhaps stronger than necessary at times. And queens helped me balance both the masculine and the feminine side of me so that they could be really au par, um, on the same level. And that was fantastic.
Yes, and I noticed quince is such a, because it's this beautiful little red flower. Well, it's kind of orangish red. Um, it seems to be helping with our hearts and having balance with our heart, and knowing when to be the receiver and knowing when to be the giver. You know,
Exactly.
yeah, because the masculine is the giving part of ourselves, and the receiving part of ourselves is the feminine part of ourselves. And I just felt that it was the right one. And then you were, of course, you were in agreement with it, and it worked beautifully for you. So I'm so happy that you have done such a great job and you helped Michael have the courage to write this book, and and then helped him through all this abandonment issue, because He had a big trauma, Mimi, a big
Huge,
trauma.
huge. Yeah,
Huge.
that's why I was going slowly at first. I was afraid that he was going to have a Herxheimer reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And because he was abroad and I was here, I wouldn't be there to be able to guide him properly. So I wanted him to take it very easy. Sometimes it's best to start slow. But he handled it marvelously, and he's already planning a revision for his book. So it's,
Oh,
yeah.
that's so fantastic. That's just great. Well, I'm going to check the chat one more time. It seems like everyone understood. Let me go here. Let me see. There's one more here, one more message. Did the gentleman come to her for a help as a practitioner? Did she know him, or was he referred by somebody?
He came
Marcia.
to me as a practitioner, looking for me as a practitioner.
Okay, and how did he find you?
He found me because we were together in an online community.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
That is so great.
Yeah, he did. That's how things work sometimes, right?
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you get someone, just that you're working with, and they ask you to help them. That's really
And
wonderful.
I also have to say that he actually bought the flower essences, and on cam, we mixed it together. He mixed his own dosage bottle while I was teaching him how to do it on cam.
Oh, oh, that's great. That's wonderful. Yeah, that gave him some kind of responsibility too, you know?
And it was going to be more. It was also going to be financially more sound because he was going to take this synergy for a while. So he had all of his his flower essences to mix.
Yes. And Ruth said it also connected him to the essences. And Samantha said, why do some people need to take a smaller dosage at first? That's her question for you,
Oh,
Samantha.
Samantha, thank you for the question. I felt that the amount this person had been functioning properly throughout his entire ordeal as a child, and bottling all of the feelings, all of the trauma that he had experienced in his childhood and adolescence inside of him. And all of a sudden we're giving him a synergy to treat him for these reactions. And sometimes when you are, let's say that you are detoxing from something, we can detox physically, but we can also detox energetically and emotionally. And once we start detoxing, if we detox too fast, sometimes our bodies can have a reaction that seems counterintuitive to what we're trying to achieve. So sometimes it's best to start very slowly and see how your body reacts so that the transition towards the healing path can be smooth. I don't know if that answers your question. I hope it does.
Oh, it's a beautiful answer. And it's totally correct. It's excellent answer because sometimes we can't take people too fast. But so if you slowly do it, you'll see how the energy field's going to take it. That's why it was great. You had him take 1, 2, 3, 4. By the fourth day, he could see his energy field was going to be able to handle it. And then later on, though, he had a little bit of a challenge, right? He had that healing crisis when he was with the allergies amplified more. However, he was taking things that were working on that. The dill, the yarrow. I mean, it's beautiful what you did with him, and then how he also came back to you, and then you were able to discuss with him and then find out, okay, now we need to take a little bit less. Now you can go up. That's the great thing about the dosage with the drops, don't you
Mm-hmm.
think, Mimi? Is
You're in control all the time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think the therapist is too, when you're doing it in drops like this, it's much easier with the client than to follow them and to see how they're doing. So this is beautiful. And Denise said, thank you for sharing, Mimi. Beautiful
Thank you.
case study.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's just gorgeous. Thank you so much for being with us today. I just appreciate you so much.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for inviting me and for listening to me. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so what a beautiful story, and what a great case study. And I want to say again that we've had 2 case studies on men. And I really think men now are starting to come out with their stories. And it's important as women and men that we support them and that we stand behind them, because it's very difficult with the way our society has been, that boys don't cry, all this kinds of things. And this is really something how Carolyn and Mimi both help their clients. I want you to remember for the quiz that they both use self-heal in their formulations. And it was just like Mimi said, it softens the formulation. And according to the flower essence repertoire, because it's one of the most fundamental and broadly used applicable remedies for true soul healing and balance. And here is just a beautiful flower. Isn't that gorgeous? And then I think there was one other thing. Oh, we got that. And then the archetype of both of these that come together for Mimi and my cases was Mariposa Lily, for feeling nurtured and being able to nurture. So just remember that it's the mother archetype of flower essences is the Mariposa Lily. Mimi also used one yellow flower in her formulation of her case study on feelings of vulnerability, hypersensitivity to others and the environment, alienation, abandonment, and unexplained fatigue. It was hornbeam. That was the yellow flower.
Lori?
Yes.
I don't know if you want to mention that both our case studies on abandonment had similarities, but we only found out about them yesterday. We never discussed our case studies.
Oh, yes, that's right. Vivi and I didn't realize our common denominators between our case studies till yesterday, till we were discussing it. So, and that's why I brought this out today to show you guys and to show you how flower essences can work. And then when we have them in the similar family. So like here we have the Achillea genus. And people say, oh, botany, that's hard. I don't want to understand botany, blah, 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 blah. Well, botany, once you understand structures of plants, you understand how they work. And by Mimi understanding how yarrows are protective, then she understood, like she said, I knew I only had one yarrow, so I knew I could give that one to him, right? It's the only one she really knew about or understood well then. So flower essences from the Astacerea family and the Achillea genus, which can also be called yarrow. Yarrow has this botanical name after Achilles, as according to the Greek mythology, yarrow was used to heal his wounds. Millefolium means 1,000 flowers. And as we look, yarrow has all those little flowerets. And yarrow is a plant which has lots of tiny flowers. The other flower essences that share this genius of Achillea are pink yarrow and golden yarrow. Pink yarrow was used in my abandonment formulation to protect the client's energy field and help with emotional boundaries, whereas yarrow was used for the man for feeling of vulnerability, hypersensitivity to others and the environment, alienation, abandonment, and unexplained fatigue because he had allergies and hypersensitivity to the environment, and yarrow helped the client develop a stronger auric field so that he could be more comfortably interact with others as well as with the surrounding environment. Okay, so make sure you guys get my book and make sure it's only $15 now for this class, and Ruth will put the link into it. And now let's take our quiz. So you can get a free book and you get a chance to have a 1-hour consultation with me. So these are our questions, and then I'll ask the question and then we'll have our answers. So here we go. What is a flower essence? What is a flower essence? And I'll be checking the chat here. Who can tell us what is a flower essence? And then that way you get a chance. Oh, right, Denise has got it. Liquid potenized preparations, each carrying a distinct imprint of the character of a particular flower that addresses your imbalances mentally and emotionally within your soul. Anybody else want to answer that question? All right, there we are. Woohoo! Now, was Dr. Bach a surgeon homeopathic doctor? Yes or no? That's an easy question. We've got a yes from Marcia, a yes from Denise, a yes from Samantha, a yes from Michelle. Okay, make sure that you do that so you get a chance to win that free consultation with me. And Nancy said yes, yes. Next question. What are the flower essences I use for the child with the infant abandonment issue? What were the flower essences I used? And I made all those blends with. Mariposa lily is one of them. Very good, Denise. What else? What else, you guys? Which yarrow did I use? Oh, here we've got it. Golden eardrops, Nancy said. Marcia said Mariposa lily, golden eardrops, chamomile, and pink yarrow. Samantha said Mariposa lily, pink yarrow, and chamomile. Excellent. Let's see what the answer is. And Michelle said golden eardrops, Mariposa lily, pink yarrow. It's Mariposa lily, golden eardrops, pink yarrow, and chamomile. Next question. What are the imbalances that Mariposa lily addresses? What is the imbalance that Mariposa lily addresses? What is the imbalance? What do we talk about? How does it help us? What is it? I mean, what has this whole class been about? Alienation from mother and abandonment, Marcia says. Abandonment or separation from mother, Samantha. Denise says alienated from mother or from mothering role, feelings of childhood abandonment or abuse. Betty said abandonment. Nancy says heart ability to receive. Yes, that's part of it too. It's a receiver, isn't it? And it's for sensitivity. So you guys are nailing it. So let's go here. Yes. Alienated from mother or from mothering role. Feelings of childhood abandonment or abuse, orphan state of consciousness. Next one. What does the structure of the Mariposa lily represent? When you look at the structure, what does it represent? Let's see here. What have we got here? All right, a chalice. Samantha, excellent. I am so glad you said that. And I'm so glad you remembered that. Good job. What about the flowers of it? What about the flowers? What about the flowers? So exciting to do this. The womb, yes, very good. What else did I say about it? Receiving, yes, good. But what else? Grows in rocks, Marcia, excellent. You guys are awesome. I'm gonna put up the answer here. Okay. So Mariposa lily has one of the most refined subtle 3 cups. It's like the chalice, the womb, right? Like petals, often covered with delicate hairs, and as a flower essence, works with the most intimate issues of the soul, developing many aspects of receptivity and sensitivity. Yes. So you guys all did a good job. And thank you for remembering that it grows in rocks and all that. That's important. And what part of the body does golden eardrops cleanse? What part of the body does it cleanse? And good job, Nancy, 3 cups like the petal. What part of the body does golden eardrops cleanse? What part of the body does it cleanse? Ears, it does help with ears. And there's another part too. Another part. Solar plexus, it is yellow. It does help open up, but it's another part. Michelle and Betty said solar plexus. Heart, Betty said. You nailed it. All right, let's go. Heart. Okay. Now, which flower in the child infant abandonment case help the child to have a harmonious emotional life? Which one? Which one, you guys? Let me see the answers here. Samantha said pink yarrow. It's not pink yarrow, but it's in the same family. Astraceae family. Marcia says chamomile. Denise said chamomile. Okay. Anybody else? Eardrops, Betty said. Let's see the answer. Chamomile. Woohoo! All right, let's go to the next one. Is pink yarrow for appropriate emotional boundaries? Yes or no? Keep it up. Everybody who participates get a free book. Yes, yes, said Betty. Yes, says Denise. Awesome. Remember, the more you answer, yes, Michelle says. Great. Yes, said Samantha. Let's see what the answer is. Yes. Okay. Let's go to our next part of our quiz. What were the different applications that were discussed using the formulation that contained Mariposa lily, pink yarrow, golden eardrops, and chamomile? What were the applications? Those were the applications that I showed you, the different things that I showed that you could use that formulation for. Under the tongue, bath and meridians, yes. Spray and wrist and bath, yes. Good job. Good job, Samantha. Good job, Betty. Any other ones? Marcia says spray, bath, tongue, and on pressure points. Good job. Anybody else? Nancy said pulse points under the tongue, spray, and bath. Good job. Okay. The more you answer, the more chance you get for that drops on the pulse points and neck. Great, Denise. Okay. You get a chance to win that $300 1-hour consultation with me. So let's go for it here. Here we go. Bath orally under the tongue, pulse points, and spray. Next question. What was the archetype flower essence in Lori's and Mimi's case study? What was the archetype flower essence? Marcia says Mariposa lily. Anybody else? Come on. You guys know the answer. You're good. Denise said Mariposa lily. Michelle said Mariposa lily. Who else? Betty said Mariposa lily. Good job, you guys. Let's see. Is it Mariposa lily? Yes, it is. That sweet little flower that sits out by herself. Okay, and what are all the yellow flowers that were used in the case studies in part 1 and part 2? All the yellow flowers. All the yellow flowers. What are all the yellow flowers? We've just got a couple more questions after this, and then we'll have our book winners and our consultation winner. So what were the yellow flowers? Can any of you guys think of them? At least think of the ones that was in my case study. You could say that one if you don't remember from yesterday, and the one today from Mimi's case study. That's at least two. So golden eardrops, yes. Chamomile is a white flower with a yellow center, so it doesn't count. But it does work on the solar plexus. You guys are right about that, Betty and Michelle. Marcia said hornbeam, buttercup, mimulus, rock rose, mustard, golden eardrops. Good job. Samantha said arnica. Denise said golden eardrops and hornbeam. Good job, you guys. Hey, you guys are rocking and rolling. All right, so let's, and Betty said golden eardrops. Okay, and mimulus. Good job. Good job. Okay, let's go here. So mimulus, rock rose, mustard, arnica, buttercup, hornbeam. And let's see what else here. Let's go to our next question. Our next question is, what was the conclusion of the case study with the man after taking flower essence formulation of yarrow, Seth-Hill, shooting star, mariposa lily, hornbeam, and baby blue eyes? What was Mimi's conclusion with her case study? And I'm going to go to our chat now. And see what you guys have to say. Denise said, engage with people more, forgave his father, and revisited difficult sites. That's really good. Okay, a great way to make the conclusion of it. Super. He became more resolved with the past, more confident, and enough to write a book. Marcia Bird. Excellent. Good job, Marcia. Anybody else? His allergies were better, and he forgave his father. Betty. Good job, Betty. Anybody else? All right, let's go for it here. Let's read it off here. And Michelle said he started to socialize back into society with boundaries. Very good. The client reports his energy levels have returned to normal. He says he feels he has more positive outlook and feels less stressed. The client also stated he feels the synergy brought up issues that need to be addressed, but that he was able to deal with them in a calmer, less stressful way. He also commented that the shape of things seemed more clearly defined and colors seemed more vibrant. So his energy came up, like you guys all said. You said other things that were very important in the case too. So good job, and good job for Mimi too. All right, what are the two flower essences in the Achille genus family for different forms of protection that were used in the child with infant abandonment formulation and the man with feelings of vulnerability, hypersensitivity to others, and the environment, alienation, abandonment, and unexplained fatigue? What two yarrows were used? In fact, I just gave you the answer almost. Nancy says pink yarrow. Okay, great. Darn it, mine. All right, Michelle says pink yarrow. Michelle said pink yarrow and yarrow. We got another one here. Denise said white and pink yarrow. Good job. Betty said pink. Nancy said pink. Yep. Good job, you guys. Let's go for this and see. Yep. Pink yarrow and yarrow. Woohoo. So Ruth is going to be putting you guys We need all your email addresses. Since you are registered for the class, we have your email address. Now she is going to do a thing in the hat with everybody's names to see who wins the 1 hour consultation with me. And what I'll do is I will contact you by email so we can set up a time. So Ruth is going to send that to me. Let me see if she's got that done yet or not. Let me see if she hasn't sent it to me yet. So she sent it. I can see she's writing the answer right now. Okay, Miss Ruth. It's going to come here. It's taking some time. I don't know why. Must be the internet. Okay, the winner of the 1 hour consultation is Denise. All right, fantastic. And everybody else gets a book. That's great. And the last one is, what is the name of the book that Mimi's client wrote? I forgot. So woohoo, congratulations to all of you for winning a book and to Denise. All right, and the name of the book for Mimi's client, that's the last one I forgot to do there. It is My Life, My Light. Okay, there we go. You're so welcome. And we want you guys all to remember that you can get signed up as soon as possible for the Flower Essence course. It does start on Monday. Ruth will put the links in very quickly. And you're going to learn how to use flower essences to help yourself, friends, family, and your clients build your health and resilience by using flower essences. And look what Mimi did with flower essences, and look how she helped this person. Isn't that wonderful? And we all need love and help. Increase your income while offering aromatherapy and flower essence blends and treatments. Get your supplies ordered. Group coaching calls weekly, individual coaching calls, full online support. And then we will have our live flower essence retreat practicum on April 24th and 25th here at my house. So I hope the other people who have took the course before will come, and we can all have a great time and have fun together at the retreat too. And does anybody have any questions? I know you guys have been so patient and so good today doing this with us. Let me go to our chat to see if we have any questions that I missed. Ruth, were there any questions that I missed? Let me see here. And Mimi says, I can't wait. Denise says, could you send the group dates and times of the 2 course options? What it is you start, everyone starts off in the 8-week course, and then people who chose to be in the practitioner, you have 2 more weeks, and you have then all the work with Sue and I for the case studies. So everyone will start on Monday. It will start at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern time, which is 12 p.m. Central time, which is 11 a.m. Mountain time. So it will start on Monday, and so they start all at the same time. And Mimi says, can't wait to have more flower essence practitioners. I can't either. I'm so excited, and I'm so excited to have I'm so glad that I got to have all of you here with me today, and you took 2 hours of your time. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me, and I can't wait to see all of you in the course so we can spend 10 weeks together, each week learning more and more about flower essences. And if you can't make the course, we had one gal who was a psychologist. She couldn't make the course every week. So what she did is she watched the recordings, and she did some beautiful case studies with her clients. And she came to our flower essence retreat too. So if sometimes people, you can't make it that time, you can just watch the recordings. The classes are 1 hour. That's it. and you'll be sent the homework assignment, and just make sure you get the homework assignment by the next week, and it's all good to go. So the winners of the book, everyone who participated, and you guys will be sent a book. If you participated yesterday, you're going to get 2 books. Okay. And if you would prefer to have one in PDF and one physically sent to you with my autograph, just let me know for the people who participated twice. And send me an email and let me know, and we'll do it that way. All right, we'll see you on Monday at the Flower Essence course. If you guys have any further questions, please email me at lorihargis@lorihargis.com. And we hope that you guys enjoyed it, that you learned a lot, and that you will join our Flower Essence course or become a Flower Essence practitioner. Please make sure you stay in touch with us. And let me see here if I've got some other little things here going on. Marcia said she'd prefer one in PDF form, and that's great. Thank you so much, Marcia. And Denise said, thank you so much, Lori, for the excellent presentation. And Betty said, thank you, and thank to all of you guys. And you guys, don't forget your essentials. Use your common sense. Au revoir, and thank you, Mimi. Michelle said PDF file too, Ruth.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much.